Today, we will cover the entire season, one of the famous anime Tokyo Revengers, in detail. So without wasting much time, let's jump right in. Season 1. First, time travel. The story begins with the protagonist chilling in his room while watching the news, and he learns that his ex-girlfriend Hinata and her brother Naoto died because of a conflict in a deadly gang, Tokyo Manji. Takemichi decides to visit the same middle school where he met Hinata for the first time, and for this, he goes to catch a train. As he is standing at the railway station, someone pushes him from behind and he falls in front of the train, seconds away from his death. Suddenly, he recalls all his memories and somehow travels back in time 12 years ago, where he finds himself on a subway bus along with his friends, Makoto, Yamagishi, Takuya, and the leader, Akun. Looking in the mirror, he can't even recognize himself, and then his friends tell him to leave the bus as they have arrived. Takemichi checks his phone and is shocked to see today's date, the 4th of July, 2005. From his friends, Takemichi learns that their group has a fight scheduled with the second-year student group at the school, whose leader is Kiyomasa. During the fight, his group, including him, gets beaten up severely and is even forced to apologize to Kiyomasa. At night, Takemichi decides to meet Hinata, and the moment he finds her alive and talking to him, he starts crying like a baby, but doesn't reveal anything to her. After meeting her, he goes to a playground and sits there for some time. He finds some bullies teasing a small boy, and Takemichi saves him by scaring the bullies. Coincidentally, that boy is none other than Hinata's brother, Naoto. Takemichi informs him that he needs to take care of his sister because 12 years later, she will die along with him. Naoto promises to protect his sister at all costs, and they shake hands, which makes Takemichi go back, or go ahead. Anyways, Takemichi finds himself in the present again, and is shocked to learn that he survived the train accident without enduring a scratch. Just then, Naoto arrives there, a police officer now, and reveals that Takemichi informed him 12 years ago that both he and his sister will die. Although he survived, he still couldn't save Hinata. Naoto tells Takemichi that by shaking his hands with him, he can travel back and forth in time with a difference of 12 years. Hence, his mission is to change the past so Hinata may survive in the future. Because it all happened due to a dispute that involved the Tokyo Manji gang, Takemichi has to make sure the two leaders of the gang, Manjiro Sano, aka Mikey, and Kisaki, never meet and plan anything against Hinata. First meeting with Mikey and Draken. They both shake hands, and Takemichi again goes back to the past, finding himself in the middle of a fight where he gets badly defeated. After the fight, Takemichi requests Kiyomasa to let him meet either Mikey or Kisaki, prompting him to start beating him again, leaving him badly injured. After that, Akun, being the leader of his group, decides that they would arrange another fight to take revenge on Kiyomasa, and the fighter would be Takuya from their side. However, when the fight begins, Takemichi challenges Kiyomasa to fight against him. As expected, poor Takemichi receives countless hits from his rival until everyone thinks he will surely die, and Akun even prepares to stab Kiyosama. Unexpectedly, Takemichi keeps getting up, which frustrates Kiyomasa, and he orders someone to bring his bat. Suddenly, the commander and vice commander of Tomen, short for Tokyo Manji, Mikey, and Draken arrive, and everyone bows to welcome them. Seeing them, even Kiyomasa gets scared and then receives the same embarrassing treatment from Draken he just gave to Takemichi. Shockingly, Mikey even tells Takemichi to be his friend, and the next day invites him to hang out with him and Draken. However, Hinata slaps Mikey, telling him that he doesn't have to force friendship on Takemichi, and then takes him away. Draken grabs her hand, instructing her to apologize to Mikey, but Takemichi takes a stand for his girlfriend, impressing Mikey and Draken, who appreciate his willpower. Eventually, the dispute between them gets resolved, and Takemichi hangs out with his new friends, discovering that Mikey is a good man by heart who never hits someone without any valid reason, especially women. That night, while going to his home, Takemichi comes across Kisaki and thinks he has seen him somewhere but doesn't talk to him. Akun's suicide. On his next visit to the original timeline, Takemichi informs Naoto that Mikey is not the person to kill Hinata, and it has to be someone else. From the criminal record, Naoto informs Takemichi that his friend, Akun, was arrested for stabbing Kiyosama during his fight. But Takemichi tells him that before he could stab Kiyosama, Mikey and Draken arrived, and the stabbing never happened because the past is already changed now. However, they still have to make sure that Hinata survives, so they plan on meeting Akun, who also joined Toman when Takemichi became friends with Mikey and Draken. They believe Akun may have contacts with Mikey, and visiting him could also lead them to Mikey. Through his phone contact, they meet Akun, who has been hiding from the police for a very long time, and he informs them that he already knew Takemichi would visit him to meet Mikey. Surprisingly, he reveals that the person who pushed Takemichi on the railway tracks was Akun himself, and he did it under Kisaki's orders. However, Naoto saved him as if he already knew what was going to happen. Further, Draken also died, and Mikey completely changed, which led to Toman's current destruction. Now, Akun works for Kisaki, so he is scared of him for not being able to kill Takemichi. Hence, he takes his life by jumping from the rooftop of the building, and Kisaki hears Takemichi's screams from a distance. Toman's division! Because they can't meet Mikey now, Naoto tells Takemichi to make sure Draken doesn't die. Thus, Mikey won't change, and Hinata would never be killed. He informs Takemichi that due to an internal conflict, Toman got divided into two groups, Mikey's side and Draken's side. And during a fight on August 3rd, 2005, Draken got killed. Takemichi's next mission is never to let that fight happen and save Draken in any way possible. When he goes back to the past, he discovers that another gang, Moebius, initiated a conflict with one of the guys from Toman, Pachin, and in revenge, they raped his girlfriend right in front of him, and even took all his money before hanging up his parents and siblings. Mikey gathers all members of Toman and announces a fight against Moebius on August 3rd to bring justice to Pachin and his girlfriend. Draken and Mikey even visit Pachin's girlfriend in the hospital, but her parents blame Draken and Mikey for their daughter's current condition. Mikey gets frustrated because his gang didn't do anything wrong, but upon Draken's advice, he accepts the blame and bows down. Takemichi witnesses this scene from a distance and realizes why Mikey would change after Draken, because Draken is Mikey's heart, and they are inseparable. In the present, Moebius' leader, Nobutaka Osanai, informs Takemichi that they didn't kill Draken, but instead, he died in an internal conflict in Toman. Takemichi goes back in time to stop Mikey and his gang from fighting against Moebius, but they don't listen to him and stay determined to take revenge for Pachin. Suddenly, Nobutaka with his gang arrives there and challenges Mikey and his group to fight against them. During the fight, Pachin stabs Nobutaka, and the police arrive there to arrest Pachin while others run, including Takemichi, who falls down and goes unconscious. When he wakes up, he discovers that Mikey and Draken have already fought, and fearing that Toman might be divided into two groups, he succeeds in making them friends again. Takemichi then meets Hinata, who invites him to join her at the festival on August 3rd, the same day Draken dies. However, because he has changed the past one more time, Draken won't die at the festival, so he readily accepts his girlfriend's invitation to join her. Draken survives. Later, Takuya instructs Takemichi to take care of Draken, but Takemichi cannot find him, and instead gets beaten up by Kiyomasa's people, who leave him there after tying him up. Hinata arrives there and frees Takemichi, and then he sees Draken about to be killed by numerous people sent by Kiyomasa. Mikey intervenes with his gang to protect his friend. However, Shuji Hanma, from the rival party, challenges Mikey to a duel, and Mikey initiates the fight with his famous kick, which Hanma blocks easily. Both gangs start fighting, and Takemichi finds Draken bleeding because Kiyosama has stabbed him, taking revenge for what Draken did to him when Kiyosama was fighting with Takemichi. Takemichi instantly carries Draken on his shoulders and heads to the hospital, but on the way, Kiyosama and his men encounter him, while Hinata and Draken's girlfriend, Emma, are also there. Kiyosama and his men are ready to kill Takemichi too, and Kiyomasa even stabs Takemichi in his hand, but Takemichi surprisingly wins the fight, defeating them, and then takes Draken to the hospital. Draken gets admitted into the ICU, and fortunately he survives, bringing joy to everyone, especially Takemichi. Hinata D's again. When Draken wakes up, he gifts Takemichi Mikey's jacket, and then Takemichi prepares to go back to the present timeline again, as everything is changed now. He gifts Hinata a locket and then goes back to his present, where he finds Hinata alive and starts crying. Apparently, Hinata and Takemichi are going somewhere in a car to spend some time. However, Takemichi goes to the restroom, and strangely, Hinata tells him that he shouldn't have left her alone. Inside the restroom, he is unable to understand why Hinata said that. But then Hanma arrives there and asks Takemichi if he was with Hinata in the car. Takemichi panics and rushes outside only to find Hinata dead, as a huge truck has hit her car, completely destroying the front seat, and the killer is none other than Akun. The car eventually gets blasted, and we see Naoto and Takemichi disappointed seeing Hinata dead even after changing the past. Before going to the past, Naoto and Takemichi meet Draken, who is in prison, and he informs them that the person behind Hinata's death is Kisaki, and no one can stop him. Kazutora and Baji's story. In the past, Mikey replaces Pachin's position with Kisaki, as he is in prison now. And when Takemichi learns about this, he gets furious, knowing that Kisaki will destroy Tokyo Manji. He proceeds to hit Kisaki, but he fights back, giving tough competition to Takemichi. Suddenly, Baji comes forward, announcing that he is no longer part of Toman. Instead, he is joining Valhalla, a rival gang, making others think that he has betrayed them all. After the incident, Mikey informs Takemichi that Baji was his childhood friend, and it was his idea to create Toman, and now he himself has left them. Mikey assigns Takemichi a task to bring Baji back to Toman, and if he succeeds, he will make him the first division captain. As Takemichi leaves, he finds Baji's purple Tokyo Manji charm, and inside, he finds a group photo of the founding members of Tokyo Manji. He recognizes everyone except one with yellow eyes named Kazutora. Later, when Akun is helping Takemichi understand all the gangs and their members, Kazutora, who is now a member of the Valhalla gang, takes Takemichi to one of the hideouts of Valhalla, and no one dares to stop him. As he reaches there, he finds Baji beating up Chifuyu, a captain from Toman, because changing gangs is like changing religions, and Hanma from Valhalla demands Hanji to prove that he is not a spy from another gang. Thus, he has to beat one of his own men in front of them. In a backstory, it is revealed that Mikey didn't have a nice bike, and on his birthday, Baji and Kazutora decided to gift him a stolen bike. But that night, when they sneak into a shop and try to steal the bike, the owner gets alert and he arrives there, scaring them. Suddenly, Kazutora hits the owner with a deadly blow, causing him to die on the spot, and Baji panics, telling Kazutora that he just killed Mikey's brother. Kazutora, in a state of shock, can't just accept what he did, so he starts blaming Mikey for making him attempt murder, and Baji tells him that he will remain by his side till the end. The police arrive there and arrest Kazutora, who keeps saying that it was Mikey who made him do it. Baji was waiting for Kazutora's release, and as soon as he did, he left Tokyo Manji. Further, Hanma informs Takemichi to be ready on October 1st. Kisaki's story. After some time, Takemichi goes somewhere, and Chifuyu stops him to have a small talk. During the discussion, they both discover that their main aim is to protect Toman from future destruction caused by Kisaki. And for this, Chifuyu decides to help Takemichi become the first division captain of Tokyo Manji, while Takemichi will help him get information on Kisaki. Chifuyu and Takemichi meet Nabutaka, who reveals that Kisaki used him to become good in Mikey's eyes when he asked Nabutaka to challenge Mikey's gang to fight them. When Pachin stabbed Nobutaka, he was arrested, but Kisaki promised Mikey for Pachin's earlier release from prison, and in exchange, he became a member of Toman, replacing Pachin. His main goal was to murder Draken and take his place in the gang, but because Nobutaka was already used, Kisaki shook hands with another rival gang member, Hanma, to plan against Tomans. Takemichi concludes that Kisaki is the leader of Valhalla, and he goes to the present to talk to Draken, who may reveal more information about Kisaki. Draken reveals that on October 1st, there will be a huge fight between Valhallas and Tomans in which Mikey will kill Kazutora for stabbing Baji. He asks Draken about the leader of Valhalla, and surprisingly, Draken reveals that it's Mikey who will become the ultimate leader of Valhalla, because after the fight, Valhallas and Toman will be merged together with Mikey, the commander, and Kisaki as his acting commander. Toman versus Valhalla. Naoto and Takemichi decide that this time, Takemichi's mission would be to save Baji from getting stabbed by Kazutora, so Mikey may not murder Kazutora and change Toman completely. During his next visit in 2005, Hinata gifts Takemichi a similar locket that he gave her, and he remembers how her necklace gets burnt in the future during the car blast. Takemichi tries his best to bring Baji back to Toman, but he is determined to kill Mikey in the next fight. Draken even tries to convince Kazutora to join Toman again and end his fight with Mikey. However, he informs him that because of Mikey, he had to stay in prison for 2 years. Soon, Mikey announces that Tomans are going to have a fight with Valhallas on October 1st, and their mission is to bring Baji back. Bloody Halloween, October 1st. On October 1st, the day of Bloody Halloween, the preparations for the war between Valhalla and Toman get completed, and Draken and Kazutora are sent as representatives from both sides. Draken tells Kazutora that if they win the fight, they will take Baji with them, but Kazutora hits the referee, informing him that no rules would be followed in the battleground, and from this point, people from the sides engage in a brutal fight against each other, with Toman overpowering Valhallas. While Takemichi tries to protect Baji, Draken becomes a shield for Mikey, but Hanma arrives there, who wants to fight with Mikey, and tells Kazutora to finish Draken. During the fight, Tomans become weak, and Valhallas take the upper hand. However, Draken alone takes the initiative to kill them all and protect the weaker one from his side. But Takemichi, showing his absolute enthusiasm, joins Draken, and this motivates other Tomans to fight as well. While Draken is busy here, Mikey gets his business done with Kazutora and his 2 men, but then he sits there silently. Finding him not doing anything, Valhallas attack him, and Takemichi rushes to protect Mikey, but Kisaki intervenes, rescuing Mikey from the attack, and everyone yells his name. This was Kisaki's original plan, which is to find the opportunity when Mikey is weak, and then protect him to show off his loyalty. Baji versus Kisaki. Suddenly, Baji arrives there, planning to kill Kisaki, and Takemichi and Chifuyu try to stop him. Takemichi even grabs him by his waist, not letting him go, but just then, Kazutora backstabs Baji, making Takemichi think that Baji is dead. However, Baji reveals that it's just a small bruise and continues fighting. Surprisingly, Baji defeats all 50 members from Kisaki's 3rd division in the blink of an eye until he is about to kill Kisaki. Unfortunately, Baji starts bleeding from his nose from the earlier stab he received from Kazutora and falls weak in front of Kisaki. Everyone thinks Baji is dead, and Kisaki manipulates Mikey to kill Kazutora for stabbing Baji. Mikey, who has already lost his patience, now proceeds to kill Kazutora, brutally punching him in the face. Takemichi recalls Draken's words that Mikey would kill Kazutora and realizes that anything he changed in the past isn't fruitful. Kazutora realizes that Baji was the only one who stood by his side till the end, which makes him guilty, and he becomes ready to accept his death. But Baji stands up, telling everyone that he is alive. However, he stabs himself because he doesn't want to die from someone else's hand. And also, he doesn't want to give Mikey any reason to kill Kazutora. As he takes his last breaths in Shifuyu's arm, Baji informs Takemichi about their true rival, who is Kisaki. Baji dies, and Mikey beats Kazutora even more, and this time, Takemichi intervenes, saying that Baji took his life so that Mikey may not kill Kazutora, but he is doing exactly what he didn't want. Further, he shows Mikey Baji's purple charm, which he kept with him even when he joined Valhalla, which reminds Mikey of the old days when they created this gang. He gives up his decision to kill Kazutora, but Kazutora gets imprisoned for 10 years. Aftermath. Because Mikey didn't kill Kazutora, Takemichi thinks he has made enough changes in the past to keep Hinata alive. Later, in the next meeting arranged by Mikey, all Tomans gather, and Mikey arrives with Hanma, and they all announce that Vanhallas and Romans are now merged, all because of Kisaki's struggles. Takemichi becomes hopeless seeing Mikey putting all his trust in Kisaki, and he can't even do anything about it. After that, Chifuyu calls Takemichi announcing that he is the new 1st Division captain of Tokyo Manji, because Baji is already dead, and he doesn't think he is capable of this role. Takemichi realizes that there is still hope to make things work out for Hinata, being the 1st Division captain. Chifuyu's death. Takemichi meets Naoto, shakes hands, and goes back to the present, where he is dressed up completely differently with a new hairstyle, almost like a gangster. And then he is taken to a huge building where everyone bows down to welcome him. He realizes that this is all arranged by his middle school friends, except Akun, which makes him believe that he has achieved all his goals in this timeline. Takemichi meets Chifuyu, who informs him that he is the top executive of Toman now, and they are heading for a meeting with Kisaki. In the meeting, Kisaki admits every wrong that he committed 12 years ago, but he didn't know Baji would die this way. However, he then jokes around, telling them that it was his plan to kill Baji by arranging that war between Valhallas and Tomans. Takemichi goes unconscious, and when he wakes, he finds himself and Chifuyu tied up to a chair, and Kisaki starts beating up Chifuyu for revealing secret information to the police because he wanted to take revenge for Baji. Kisaki takes a pistol and shoots into Takemichi's leg, and then kills Chifuyu before he points his gun at Takemichi and pulls the trigger. Alright, that was a brief summary of Season 1 of Tokyo Revengers. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.